We apologize for our surroundings this morning, but our elevator died. It's taken a while to get parts to fix it, so with that, I'll open the meeting, and I always will start with opening prayer.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to gather here today. We just ask that you watch over us and protect us. Thank you for the freedom to be able to gather and conduct county business. Just let us be good stewards of the county's money, make good decisions, give us wisdom. Be with all those in the community that are sick and just need an extra grace, dose of grace, dear Lord. Be with us. Thank you for all you do for us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Jerry, I'll let you do the pledge. I guess we have to. We got
Well,
one here
come
right
on
there.
there.
Walk right by it too.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I got one question. Since we're doing it this way, do we need to speak up? To pick up? Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. Kim, you want to check our form?
Sure. All right, good morning.
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 Quorum for our February 10th meeting. Ms. Cookenbook.
Here.
Mr. Cox.
Here.
Mr. Phillips.
Here.
Mr. Booth.
Present.
And Mr. Turman.
Yes.
No one of us is gonna
With that, we'll take the approval of the agenda. Do anybody have any add to takeaways?
If I may, under 12C, new business, I think we can change that from action item to just a discussion and then a consensus.
Yes, sir.
See?
Yeah, 12C.
Instead of action item, it's just for discussion with Mark and then with the consensus. And the reason I'm saying that is, we don't have local codes. And with everything we got going on, I don't really want to start down that road. If there's some reason for under the state code, we have to vote on it, then Mark can tell us and we can do it. I'm not interested in starting a local code.
Anybody else? Take the motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion, sir.
Second.
All right, a motion to approve the agenda with the addendum of removing the action item noted on 12C. Ms. Cookenbook.
Yes.
Mr. Cox.
Yes.
Mr. Booth.
Yes.
Mr. Phillips.
Yes.
Mr. Turman.
Yes. That will move down to approval of the disbursements. Does anybody have any questions or corrections or anything?
Yeah, I have some questions.
But we got some of the same ones.
Okay, you wanna go first?
No, go ahead.
All right, I even printed it out. This Kara Soft Technology Corporation for $73,000, is that, I'm sure that's probably Danny.
Yeah, that's a change for the online for a pro for a 1-year term, actually in addition to.
Right, yeah, cause then there was another, the Evident, is that the sheriff's office?
Yeah, that's part of the grant, ceasefire grant. that we
Yeah.
received.
Right, so it came to us and we wrote the check to that guy,
Correct.
okay?
It's uploaded and it's reimbursed.
Right, and then, what was the other one? Yeah, the Tyler. 366.76. That's remote munis reporting and stuff, that's
Right,
our
that's-
annual, that
That's
the-
also the implementation of the permitting. We're doing the permit department,
Right, that's 1,304, which is a wonderful thing.
that's part of that, yeah.
Okay, and then the 72,000 out of that is our, that'll be what we pay yearly?
Correct.
Okay. Alright, yeah, we gotta go to compactors sooner rather than later. Ooh-wee! A lot of money spent. I mean, 16,000 and change, but, yeah.
But future boards will see it as a savings.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. I think that was it.
It's gonna be a while before we do, but,
Yeah. Did I cover all of
yeah,
those?
you get everyone I had the question on.
Anyone else?
Yes, sir, just to remind myself about this, we talked about getting, Robert from, APCO to work with us on our buildings to see what we might be able to do to realize some savings. I know we've got 17 million irons in the fire, I get that, but, when we look at these bills each and every month, I mean, there's gotta be some savings somewhere, and whatever money we put out to realize those savings is, in the end, gonna be good, and it's just,
So one of the goals is to have him here, we've been corresponding, he was already scheduled to be here for other positive things, but, for the February PM
oh, okay, great,
meeting, he's gonna do a presentation to the board and
excellent,
maybe drop off a set of keys, and,
Nice.
so we can also ask him,
yeah, that'd be great.
to start working and scheduling something out for that.
Yeah, I mean, I get that we've got so many things going on, but especially when we're working towards this building's redo, it'd be nice to really think in terms of energy, efficiencies.
Make that happen.
It's just the right thing to do. That's it, sir.
Anything else? I'll take a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second.
On the
Pay the
motion
bills.
to approve the disbursement, Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Ms. Cookenbook,
Yes.
Mr. Booth,
Yes,
Mr. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Turner.
Yes.
Disbursements as presented, that's what it is.
Look at this.
Next, we have the approval of the minutes. Anybody have any corrections or questions?
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion to approve if there are no amendments.
I'll second that. Any other discussion? Call the roll.
All right, on the approval of the minutes, Mr. Booth,
Yes.
Mr. Phillips,
Yes.
Ms. Cookenbook,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
and Mr. Turner.
Yes.
Bam.
So there's no clock up there to remind me if you're ahead or behind, so I'll do my best to keep you on schedule.
You're ahead.
We're gonna say we're on time.
All right, well, we had our February meeting last night, opened it up, it is School Board Appreciation Month, so we recognize our board and our clerks for all they do to, behind the scenes to keep everything focused. We have a saying that excellence in the classroom begins with excellence in the boardroom, and we're really appreciative of our board members and all they do to support our students' success. We had some 6th and 7th grade CTE experiences. One of our division goals is to offer some more experiences to our 5th, 6th, 7th graders. In other counties, they get electives much earlier than they do here in Floyd. So we designed for our 5th, 6th, and 7th graders to go to the high school in December. Weather impacted that schedule, so it ended up just being 6th and 7th graders that got to come up, and they got to go to different classes in the CCVC, and they learned about welding. Mr. Thompson's students had them laying down hot glue guns on 2 pieces of wood to start learning about welding. They learned about childcare and buckling infants into safety seats. They made some Grinch punch in culinary, saw some boards in ag, learned about electronics in auto, and various other things. And all of those teachers did a great job of emphasizing that the math and the English that they're learning in their 6th and 7th grade classes are what is gonna help them in those classes in the future. So it was a great experience. We hope to do it again next year and hope to be able to include our 5th graders next year, because we know that the research shows that students really start making decisions about careers before 10 years old, about what they can do and want to do. So we wanna get to them early. We had a policy revision. We kind of took your all's lead, followed your lead from having a policy on weather impacting meetings. So we put that in our policy as to rescheduling meetings that may be impacted by weather. They approved you may remember a couple years ago, our ag started planning a trip to Ireland. That is scheduled for next fall. So they approved the go-ahead to look at planning a trip to Italy with ag to look at farms, and that would be in 28, 29, I believe. So just approval to start fundraising and look at going overseas again. The state has changed a policy and a procedure for when schools are identified as a subgroup needing support, and our students with disabilities at Czech Elementary, Czech have to develop a plan of how they're going to help them be more successful on state assessments. So the board had to approve their plan, and it's a great plan. That amazingly, that school, we had a very tight turnaround. The state didn't let us know that we even had to do it until the beginning of January, and it was due with board approval by it's getting turned in today. It was due by February 6th, but our board did not meet until last night. So we got approval to do that. So but the team did great, even with 10 snow days, communicating virtually and getting the whole school together and involved on how they can support those students. And many of the things we were already doing because we saw the data come in May, way before the state let us know that. So we've been able to say we've been doing some of the things already. Some more great news. An application process came across my inbox in August from a group called Transcend about a rural career connected collaborative. And it was an application process, so Ms. Questenberry and I said, hey, let's look at this, let's apply. So we went through the application process. I had an interview with the team, then Ms. Questenberry, Mr. Hollingworth, and myself had an interview with the team, and we found out last month that we were accepted. So out of 120 applicants across the country, only 10 were selected.
Wow.
And we were one of them. So we're very excited about this. It is a focus on rural career development because we face issues and barriers that suburban and urban divisions do not face. So it's a 15-month collaborative, kicked off week before last with the 10 divisions all together. It also kicked off the first 5 months, the first third of the program is a superintendent mentorship. So I have monthly meetings with the other 10 superintendents and the partners at Transcend, and then they are paying for us to attend a retreat in Washington, D.C., where we will go see other schools and hear from other schools and some of the things they're doing, and really do kind of this redesign. We're going to be involved in the community. We'll have a community design team in place to really look at our career opportunities, and not just in the school but outside and connecting to the community. So we're really excited. I'll keep you updated on that as it develops because it's an awesome thing. The formal press release should come out tomorrow, so you'll be seeing that everywhere probably because we're very excited about it. We had Ladina come and share the workforce housing presentation for a couple of reasons. One, because we are a neighbor, but two, because housing is one of the biggest barriers, probably the second biggest barrier we face when hiring staff. And so it was a wonderful presentation. She did an excellent job. The board asked a lot of great questions, and we're just really thankful that you all are considering how to help us with that issue.
It was received really well.
Yeah, it was.
You know, and the questions that they asked were real, pointing it to what it is, but real positive, so I know we were both appreciative.
And just very forward thinking, thinking about water and drain runoff and all of those things. So great great presentation, it was great to have her. We shared the proposed calendar for next year. Board will vote on it next month. It does have 179 days, and we have a committee of parents and staff from every school. They wanted some longer fall and spring breaks. So we've added a day for fall and a couple days for spring break in the calendar next year. It pushes us just a little later in the week, in May getting out, but still before Memorial Day. So we think it's a pretty good design. It's always hard to give everybody what they want in a calendar, but those longer breaks may also help with absences, and families now have time so they can take vacations throughout the year. The state requires us to do an inclusion plan every 3 years, so Ms. Chafin presented on how our schools are doing with inclusion of students with disabilities. We have 2 more school board visitations left. We'll be at Indian Valley Elementary on March 5th from 3:30 to 6:30, and then Floyd Elementary had to be rescheduled due to the snow, so the board will be, or 2 members of the board will be there on March 16th from 3:30 to 6:30. And then we worked a little bit on the budget on a work session. The main goals this year's budget season are staff compensation and benefits, and then infrastructure and bus fleet. So look forward to working more on that and collaborating, and happy to answer any questions you all have.
Do you know what your, most current, excuse me, ADA is?
Our ADM, 1606.
1606, okay. And it don't have to be no big, I've had some questions from some parents. Could you break it down per school and send it over to Kim sometime?
It's on our board agenda every month. Yeah, it's on the website. We can,
Oh, okay.
yeah, we publish that every month.
That's all I had. Other than thank
Yeah, y'all's done, I got a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
I recently asked for a copy of the budget
Yeah.
for the school and also part of the county, because a lot of people didn't realize that, because they was asking, why do we not have a line item budget? Floyd County, we do have a line item budget. What happens is, when the county gets it, they break it down to where we can understand it up here and put it in terms from what they submit. That's with the school and also the county departments. During the breakdown here, over here on the informational section, I think Jerry just brought up the ADM thing here on this year. But I've noticed for the past 10 years, we have declined in attendance. 480 total for the last 10 years, and also that averages out to about 48 per year. And that's the breakdown of the whole school system, which is probably, if you added every grade from every elementary to the high school, it's 156 classes, and the break it down is less than 1 per thing. But anyway, 1 per class. What is your prediction for the next 10 years? Do you see that we're gonna have an incline? You have 13 classes coming through right now. Do you predict that we're gonna go up, down, stay about where we're at? I noticed this year you said 1602?
1606.
Oh, 06, I looked at that wrong. Okay,
Yeah, which is an increase, and I would not have predicted that.
okay.
Because regionally, people are having less children.
Correct.
We know that young people are not moving into Floyd County. Floyd Baptist is advertising for slots, and that used to never happen.
Never.
You know, we're short on kids, in the county. So I would predict it to keep dropping. We would not have assumed that it would have risen this year. But trends would show that it would drop. Now we try to budget on the low side because we much rather come in low than over budget on students. So that budget for FY26 is based on 1571, and we budgeted, our draft budget is on 1578. When we budget, we like to just take out the seniors, and we average about 115 kindergartners coming in, so we replaced 115 kindergartners, and that number has served us well for the past several years in predicting. We come in a little bit lower than what the VDOB predicts we will have, but it's kept us in a good place and kept us from over budgeting.
Okay.
So I would hope that we would hold steady, and maybe even continue to gain students, but trend-wise, the state is losing enrollment.
I reckon the homeschool children, are we losing some of those too to homeschool?
Floyd has always had one of the highest homeschool populations in the state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, do you perceive us ever having to have a middle school here in Floyd?
That's a loaded question,
I know.
because, I was a middle school teacher,
Mhm.
and I would have told you when I started, yes, we need that. And I think there's certain, benefits to having our seventh graders in the same school as kindergartners.
Mhm.
They get to stay children a little bit longer. But when we look at opportunities, they are not getting the same opportunities that sixth and seventh graders in our neighboring counties are getting, specifically with careers. So I don't know, and Floyd is unique, you know, I think we could look at something that, that fit our communities, but eventually we're either gonna have to find a way to offer things to them in 4 different schools,
Right.
or look at how we could make that.
I talked with Gene Bishop, who was the school board member for Indian Valley, probably a couple times in the past month. And he explained a little bit to me about the new addition put onto the high school, but that compensated somewhat for the middle school program. Is that what you think too?
It helped our 8th graders, it did help our 8th graders, but then we still have our 6th, 7th graders that are,
Right.
that need to get some more experiences other than just going to the library once a week and music once a week.
Well, the reason I'm asking some of these questions is may have something to do with how I decide on other things on
Yeah.
the board. Because, I mean, you know, the school is involved in a whole lot of things around here, so.
We're the largest employer in the county.
Right. Well, with all that being said, there's one more thing, and I hope Gene Bishop brought it up at your meeting. You know, I've done mention about the potholes and stuff at the parking lots and all this. And the driveway around behind the Indian Valley School needs to be paved. The kids at the Indian Valley Elementary School would like to have a jungle gym, if any way possible. He was supposed to brought that up. I don't know whether he did or not. but-
He's been bringing it up for about 3 years, yeah.
Well, I'm bringing it up now, so we need a jungle gym up there for the kids. They need something to get out and play on also, you know, that benefits them more so than the swing sets or whatever. But anyway, I want to put that in there.
Yeah.
And with that, y'all have any, whatever y'all got?
I think we might have something.
I do too.
Yeah, mine was just about kindergarten attendance or average class size, that answered that, so.
Yeah.
Appreciate all you do.
Thanks for
Yeah,
that.
I do too.
Thank you, sir.
So, just for, you know, the public's understanding too, I'm gonna bring these up. I know that there's been a lot of talk about virtual learning while we were on snow days. And I'd like you to explain the fact that virtual learning can't happen unless we are able to feed children, and I'm correct on that?
You're correct.
And to feed children, you would have to get folks to come out in weather that isn't very good to drive in. Is that a federal mandate or a state mandate?
So those are state requirements, so we are, by Code of Virginia, required to have 990 hours or 180 school days. And they have allowed us to use up to 10 virtual learning days, but we must provide food. Students with IEPs must have their service times met. So there's a lot of restrictions. But we also know that virtual learning was hard enough during COVID. We know that the best learning takes place with our kids in front of us in the classroom, and that often during weather times, people are stressed. They're trying to clear their driveways, clear their neighbors' driveways, get water to their livestock. It's not really a good learning environment to press virtual learning. Same thing with our staff. It's an added pressure for them to then flip everything to be virtual, and then you look at equity. So our board has taken the states that we owe an extended day, so we bank minutes every day. should we need to add more minutes or look at other days, we will, but,
As we did yesterday.
yes, we do great when we can get them in and get them in front of us,
Right,
so,
right.
we have just not been a fan of virtual
Right.
learning, and
And that-
we've been able to maintain student success without having to do that.
Right, and even though we're not live broadcasting, I did wanna get that out there for as
Yeah.
many people that'll watch this later as possible,
Yeah.
because it is something that's talked about a
And
lot.
other counties can do a great job with it, but for
Right.
our context, we feel it's best to let those be.
Oh, I
days.
don't know that it's as great, cause I agree with you 110% that it's best to be in the classroom. Now, you said we're gonna have 179 days, but we're required to have 180,
Or 990 hours.
or
And we-
9, and we are surpassing that.
Yeah, we're
And
way
we
over
added-
on our hours.
Yeah, 10 minutes to the start of the day, 10 minutes to the end, is that what it is now?
No, we go
Oh.
a little longer than that,
Okay.
than the VDOE required day.
Okay,
So it's only like 5 point something hours a day, the VDOE hour, day long is.
gotcha, and,
So we're more like a little over 6.
right, okay,
So
great.
we are good.
Alright, now back to this Transcend, which sounds an amazing, situation. Where is this Transcend group out of?
I don't know where their headquarters are because they all work virtually from their house.
Okay.
But they travel. We'll have, our design partner will be coming the beginning of March and he'll be here. He'll stay for about a week here in Floyd and visit our classrooms and talk with people, and he'll help hold our first design kickoff meeting. So, but most of the schools that were selected of the 10, there's like 3 in North Carolina. We're the only one from Virginia. I think there's one from New York, one from Vermont, and Illinois, Georgia. So a
So
lot
it
of,
sounds like it's sort of east of
More
the
east,
Mississippi,
yeah.
yeah, and I guess they probably have mid, maybe western.
well, no, this was the whole country.
Oh, this is the whole
This is-
country?
And so they pick like our in-person meeting in March, they picked DC because it was kind of central to everybody.
Right.
But it's been like in Colorado and Texas and other places depending on where they select the.
And when you talk about careers, we're talking about careers of our students or careers of, okay, so it's student career pathways, not just the careers that happen within our system.
Right,
Okay,
right. It is getting our students interested in careers
okay.
and connected to careers.
Well, that sounds amazing, and, if you can get Kim any other information about Transcend, I'm sure it'll be in the press release, but
Yeah.
make sure we get a copy of that press release. I'd love to have that in our correspondence, cause this sounds amazing, and congratulations on being one of 10
Yeah.
out of the entire country. That's
Thank
fantastic. And, yeah, I really appreciate everybody doing, going 110%, trying to get schools back open and
Yeah.
such. Oh, one other thing I had about, what I did wanna know about is, when you talk about snow routes, obviously, this is something that, we had talked about years ago. And, 2010 comes to mind, 1996 comes to mind, and we didn't have them. Are these documented snow routes? So, does our transportation department, is it now, is there someplace that a citizen can go to see what are the snow routes? And when you say, okay, snow routes are gonna be in place, how, and I know they were making direct phone calls to parents, I get all that, or guardians or whatever. I just wonder about snow routes. I thought about it back, when I was 20 days with 3 kids in the house. But I just wondered, what that's all about.
Mainly it's a lot of our dirt roads.
Right.
That are not safe to put buses on. And so we will meet at intersections.
Right.
Through there. And I will say VDOT has been great. Ronald and I spoke multiple times.
Right.
Over, and he, when do you wanna go back? What do you need us? And, but the dirt road, there's only so much you can do to a
Right.
dirt road.
When it's got ice
That's
on it.
got Snowcrete on it. And, so they meet often at the intersections. Now, our actual bus routes are not online because one, it's also a safety thing. I don't wanna advertise when kids are
Gotcha.
standing out by the
Gotcha.
road on a country
This
road
day and age.
at a certain time.
Yeah.
And we are, a small rural school division, so we don't have a software that does that. We have a Paul Robertson that
Right.
does our bus
Does
routes.
that, right.
So, he goes through every route and he knows which roads are definitely not safe. And we just send out the calls to remind
Right.
people that they meet at the intersection.
And so what happens if a parent, and I guess, does this become an excused absence? And I'm just,
Yes.
maybe I'm getting down in the weeds, but if a family only has a two-wheel drive car and they still can't get out on
Right.
this snow creek,
Right.
that is an excused absence for that child?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I had some questions directed to me, so I just wanted,
Yes.
and I was just personally, wanted to know about it.
And we know also, like, Floyd County people are pretty tough. We know we're
We
gonna
are.
get snow. We live on dirt roads.
Yeah,
We
right.
have four-wheel drives. We have four-wheelers.
Most, but not
Yeah.
everybody.
And so we try to not put anybody in any harm.
Right.
But we also know that we're all getting out and going places. We can meet at the end of the dirt
Yeah,
road.
Absolutely,
On the pavement.
absolutely. I think it's a great idea.
Thank you for explaining the virtual learning,
Yeah.
because I had a lot of people asking me why we weren't having virtual learning. And so I'm glad you,
It's really like just
Yeah.
virtual
Yeah.
practice is what that
Right.
is.
Or maybe,
Yeah.
even that.
I guess this.
But they're learning today and yesterday.
They are.
They are getting some learning.
I'm gonna tell you, we were at a game last night, every single one of those players had computers out, math books out, notebooks out, they were, they were working.
If I can finish, this is just a reflection on my part. It's no reflection on y'all because you have to do what the state board of elections. But we're forcing our kids, you was talking about leaving kids where they can be kids, you know. We're forcing our kids to grow up too fast. You know, they're not getting what old guys like us got, you know. I mean, I really look back and compare what it was when I was in school so many years ago to what it is now. And, you know, kids can't be kids. You know, they got too much just in front of them, you know. I already got a kick watching, you know, the twins is where I can see them. I mean, they wore their hillside out, you know, through those sleds.
Yeah.
I sweated bullets for a while till I figured they had it down where that they could stop before they hit a tree or a fence or a road bed. But, you know, you don't see kids doing that anymore. You know, you don't see them out roughhousing and running around through the fields, which it's a different time. You know, I run all over the hills. My parents may not have seen me for half a day, but they didn't worry about me, you know, because they knew it, you know, I know where home was. Nowadays, you can't let them out of your sight, you know, I understand that, but we need to find some sort of programs where kids can be kids again for a while.
I think it starts with let teachers be teachers. And that's gonna take the General Assembly getting off her
Yeah,
rear end.
that's what I mean. It's no
Admitting they
reflection.
made mistakes and getting back to letting the teacher teach. Instead of teaching to a test, let them teach to the children.
You know, I'm old fashioned, I believe in the basics, reading, writing, and arithmetic. And that's the reason I fight, or keep bugging people about cursive. You know, I'm glad we teach it. A lot of schools don't. You know, I've been in situations where that I can't print, but I can do cursive. My son can print, but he can't do cursive. And I've been in situations where I had to turn around and redo something because the people couldn't read cursive. And, you know, that breaks your heart really when you think about it, you know, because we've got away from basics. Shut down the computers for a while and just let them look it up in a book for a change. You know, so, you know, quit Googling it.
You got that mother look when you said that.
Yeah, but, you know, I think Jessica understands what I'm saying, you know, she's a country girl. And so, you know, I just think that we're really hurting or doing our kids a disservice by not teaching the basics.
Well,
and letting kids be kids.
the system,
Yeah.
the system needs fixing. Like I said, teachers need to be able to teach. If it hadn't been for the teachers that I had, I don't know where I'd be. They had the time, they could take and they could make it interesting. They had time to do stuff, to make it interesting. We were studying Virginia history, well, we brought the coffee cans in and the rubber tubes, and we made tom-toms, we made tomahawk, we did all kind of stuff that they don't have time to do that
We
anymore.
still do those things.
Well, I know, but
We still do quite a lot of creative stuff.
I know, but it's nothing like it was because of teaching to test. And the state made the mistake in doing that, they won't admit it, they won't change it, and when they do change it, they make it worse than it was.
They just said, what was it, Grinch Punch?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Very much.
I love that, that's what we need more of.
I love this new center up there, where they're learning nursing and culinary arts, and, you know, it shocked me when I found out my granddaughter was taking, you know, she's cooking at home a little bit, you know, and.
Bless you.
That's Chef Nat.
You know, they get some hands-on learning, you know, there again, using myself. I could sit here and listen to you all day, teach me, but unless I do it myself, I cannot learn it. I'd rather if I'm working on something, somebody just watch me and let me do it, cause that's where I learn. And I think that's where a lot of kids are, you know, if they don't have to Google it, if they have to get a textbook or go to the library or something and look it up, you know, I think they would learn better, you know. I'll shut up, I can complain about stuff all day long, but you know, but we appreciate everything y'all do, we really do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your support, and
Thank you.
don't know how I kept you on time today, but.
Thanks, Justin.
Thanks,
Dustin?
Dr. Troller.
Take care.
Interestingly enough, you're talking about kids not knowing how to be kids. This winter storm that we just had has been the most across the country, like as far as Texas. The most traumatic for children in sleigh riding. I'm waiting to see numbers once the trauma surgeons group puts it out. The number of injuries that kids receive from sleigh riding are astronomical compared to what we've seen in the past. And I don't know if it's because they don't know how, because we've not, snow's not what it used to be.
I think it comes down to common sense.
They may have a lot
very
to do
vital
with it.
point of it,
You can sweat all you want to, watch out for trees and fences.
Yeah.
I think it's the ice that was on
I
it
do too.
all across the eastern
I do too.
seaboard. I think that was what, this was not normal snow.
Yeah.
the speed, that's for sure.
It was
That's-
definitely.
Oh, yes.
I think the farther south you get, they're really not used to having ice or snow, so.
Yeah.
It comes back to.
Yeah.
Mr. Chambers.
Exactly.
Hey, you'll probably see an
Not now.
increase in the numbers of elderly falls.
We have seen that for sure.
Some of these
I-
sleigh
My
riding deals
goodness,
look
isn't
like
that
the Winter Olympics I've been watching.
Yeah.
Doing
On
some
that
hot
luge.
sledge.
Yeah, actually, y'all got a lot of calls from people that
Fall.
fail.
Yes, we did. We got a fair number. I don't have a tally on the women, but we got a fair number of falls from all over places, from their homes to doctor's offices to sidewalks.
Yeah, I
just
saw that one.
all over the place.
Yeah. And some of them wouldn't call until the day after, which was
Yeah.
very interesting.
It's interesting. It's something that's more common.
Fell
than
2
you think.
days ago,
Yeah.
disoriented.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I know, that's what, yeah, it's like,
It's scary.
yeah, it is scary.
Maybe they didn't want their children to know they failed.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But the hurting didn't go away.
Right. Alright, well, we're off topic, so I would get back to what I'm supposed to be talking about. I'm gonna try to catch you up on time and talk real fast. But I'm here to talk about ambulances. We've got a couple, and I'm gonna kinda go over what we've got here and kind of mileages and where we're at. And then I'm gonna talk about, we were able to write a grant, so I'll go a little bit into that, and then kind of the information we used to write that grant. Kind of what I'm here for today is to give you the grant information. I need to either accept or decline the grant award by February 28th. We don't have to sign any purchase agreements or anything right now. We can get into any of that, any other time. But the specs and stuff that we use to write the grant are here, and and I can send those over to you, but
We got,
they're pretty intricate. So what you should have a, the grant, you should have the grant. And then you should have a quote from Stryker for some of the parts that are in the grant. And then the last one you should be a proposal for furnishing the ambulance.
Please tell them what you got the grant amount for.
Oh, we'll get there.
Did you?
I'm building up.
All right, all right.
Building up all this
I'm all
stuff.
excited over here. I'm
Building
excited.
up all this.
oh, yeah, we
And I
got.
hope Miss Dennis getting my good side back. My backside is quite the best side of it. Alright, so the ambulances that we have right now, we've got 4 medic units, and those are kind of the main trucks that we use. They're outfitted for advanced life support. They've got modern equipment, all that kind of stuff on them. The 4 medic units are 4 units that the county has purchased since probably around 2015. The most recent 2 were in around in COVID. They were 2020 model and a 2021 model. Then we have 3 that were transferred over to us when the volunteer group closed down. We think they're serviceable, but they need some work before they're serviceable. We've got the aesthetic part of it done, the expensive parts, putting the equipment on it, but I'm trying to address some of that with this proposal that I'll talk about. And then we have 2 more from the volunteer group that closed down that are just, they're not useful to us. So we've been trying to figure out ways that, maybe Mark can use them somewhere or something like that. There's ongoing conversations about those things.
Got plans.
Yep, I think they're working on them. I just know, they're outdated, the suspension stuff on, we just can't use them for moving patients. They're early 2000s vehicles. So that's up to them what they wanna do with them. Right now, they're stored at Station 3 until they figure out where they wanna put them. So the medic units, so we have Medic 1's a 2020 F550. It has an Osage box on it, which is an ambulance manufacturer. But again, it's a Ford chassis. It has 165,000 miles on it. Last year, in 2025, and I did this assessment right about this same time, 2025 it had 125,000 miles on it, so we put 40,000 miles on that vehicle this year. The next one's Medic 2, it's a 2021 Ram 5500, also with an Osage box. It currently has 128,000 miles last year. We started with 90,000. Medic 3 had 173 on it last year. This year it has 182. It's a 2017 Ram 4500. And then Medic 4 is a 2015 F450. It has 189,000 miles on it currently. Last year it had 187. That is our reserve vehicle. It's the oldest vehicle we have. That's the one I want to talk to you about replacing today. It's not in great shape. It doesn't ride good. And kind of what we do with it after we replace it is at your discretion. If you want to try to put it up, take bids on it, if you want to sell it, if you want to move it somewhere else, we can do whatever we need to when we get there. Then the 3 ambulances that we feel are able to be utilized from the volunteer group is an F450. It has a wheeled coach box on it. It has 53,000 miles. There's a 2013 F450, also a wheeled coach, has 27,000 miles. I'm also going to talk about that one today. And there's a 2009 4500 with a wheeled coach box that only has 34,000 miles. Very low mile vehicles. The issue is, at best, they're 12 years old now. So we think we can utilize them in some limited manners, especially the 2013, because it's the best shape one. But we'll get into some more of that stuff later. What I want to talk about today is we wrote a grant in September-ish, around September, trying to look forward to see, hey, all these ambulances are kind of coming to fruition, if you want to call it, about the same time. They're going to run out of shelf life about the same time. And this is one of the key things that I tried to identify when I kind of took over this role a couple of years ago, was what kind of massive challenges are we going to run into? Staffing was one of them, and then all these vehicles are running out of shelf life at the same time was another one. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to not come up here and tell you guys I need $2 million for ambulances. So I don't want to do that. It's not fruitful for anybody. It's not going to get me anywhere. It's not going to get you guys anywhere. So trying to figure out how to kind of set up a way that we work through this over 5-8 years is, in my opinion, the best approach to do it. So the first piece that that I felt like we're a good starting point, and then we can plan from here, is to try to get Medic 4 replaced. Medic 4 against the 2015 F-450 with 189,000 miles on it. We wrote a grant and we utilized Atlantic Emergency Solutions to pull numbers for us. So what we did is they came to our building, they looked at the trucks that we have. We looked at statistics for how many incidences we have with, trying to fit up people's driveways. We looked at how many incidences that we have of people turning too sharp and catching a stump on the way out. Just all these different things, and we tried to come up with, one, ways that we could lower our maintenance bill, or repair bill, we'll say. And then for two, trying to find ways to just increase the longevity of these vehicles. And we feel like the two black ambulances that we have, they're state of the art. You guys know that. You respect them out, they're state of the art. One of the things that we're trying to figure out is, that's the longest wheelbase ambulance you can buy in a, we'll call it a pickup truck chassis, right? You can go up to, international vehicles and stuff like that and get longer, but for what we're doing, that's the longest wheelbase you can buy. It's 172 inches. We think, based on kind of our data, and we've been around and talked to other agency leadership, we think going back down to maybe 158-inch box might, or 158-inch wheelbase, might help with some of those catching doors, catching mirrors, catching whatever as we're driving down the road, as we're getting in and out of people's driveways. You guys know what Floyd County driveways are like. So that was kind of our first takeaway is, hey, we want to keep the state of the art, but we want to go a little bit smaller. We want to try to shorten the box a little bit, shorten turn radius. We could not effectively do that with the exact same layout that we have. So we had to move some stuff around a little bit, which is all in the drawings. We can get into that later, but it's essentially the same ambulance. So we took that, and then the next expense, obviously, expense number one is the ambulance, the box, and the chassis. Expense number two is the high cost things that go on, right? So the cardiac monitor, the Lucas device, which is a chest compression device, and then the power system that lifts the stretcher up and down, and then the stretcher itself. So we included those in the grant as well. So all told, looking at the grant paper here, we requested, number page up here, we requested a 50-50 grant, which is about the best we can get for a government-driven organization. Some volunteer agencies can get 80-20s, but it's very unheard of these days. The last 80-20 I remember seeing was around 2017. I haven't really seen one in quite a while. But we got approved on a 50-50 grant. The grant totals that we received funding for the Striker power load cot and the power load system. So we wrote them together. The cost is about $78,000 total. We received a $30,000 award for it. The Lucas device and the Life Pack, which is the cardiac monitor and the chest compression device, again, right around $70,000. We received $38,415.62 for it. And then the ambulance, which is what you see on this, and the numbers are all here for the load systems and the cot. And then the ambulance was $337,338. We received $168,669. So the total grant is $237,237,084.62. My dyslexia's kicking a little bit. The total cost for the whole package, for everything together, ambulance, cot, load system, everything, was $486, around $486,100. That leaves us being on the hook after reimbursement, because it is a reimbursement grant. We pay it up front and get reimbursed for the 50%. After reimbursement, we're on the hook for about $249,014.72. So what we're hoping to do with that is, and I'll leave a copy of my actual notes numbers here for you too with Ms. Cheeto. I didn't get a chance to send them over this morning. What we're trying to do is we want to replace Meg 4. And by doing that, we're gonna take the modern equipment, so the load system, the monitor, the stretcher, the Lucas device, the modern equipment that's on Medic 4, we're gonna take it off. And we're gonna take that equipment and we're going to put it onto the EMS Vehicle 6, which is one of the low mileage ambulances that the volunteers brought over to us. Effectively, we'll make that thing usable. So what we're trying to do really is we're trying to take $249,000 of our money, bring in an ambulance, but also create a second one too. And I'm not sure, you know, how else, I can't find a better way to start utilizing those things than through this method like right now. So, looking forward, you know, outside of just this current situation, you know, the other trucks that we're working on, even our newest trucks are, you know, one's 165,000 miles, the next one's 128. And we're running 80,000 miles a year. And our volume keeps going up, so we're gonna keep driving more miles every year. You know, I know we talked about, offline, we talked about, you know, getting some equipment committee and stuff back together. You know, I think that's a very important thing for us to do so that, you know, I kind of feel like I'm coming up here and blindsiding you guys a little bit, and I'm not intending to do that. This has not been something that's been greatly communicated to the board over the last couple of years, because I've been communicating that we're gonna have a problem here for a while. So, you know, getting everybody back on the same page, I think would be greatly beneficial. So I'll leave these here. I will say, you know, looking forward, if we ordered a vehicle today, we're looking 16, 19 months from this manufacturer before it would get here. You know, there's other manufacturers out there, some of them are maybe a little shorter, some of them are maybe a little longer. I have, you know, different quotes from a bunch of different folks, but they're all pretty well in the same ballpark. So this Atlantic Emergency Solutions, they're based out of Roanoke, and the good thing about, you know, them is they can do our services up there and all that type of stuff too. They have a full service center up there. So one other thing I wanted to mention as we look forward over the next couple of years is, you know, we're talking about Medic 3's got 182,000 miles on us. We're gonna have to start figuring out what we're gonna do with it pretty soon too. There's options we could remount some of these things as well. And what that means is we can take a box off, put a new chassis under it, they'll refurbish the box, new door, new handles, new paint, new everything. A little bit more cost effective sometimes, but not all ambulances are eligible for it. I think generally you'd be looking at around $285 for a remount versus $400 for a new vehicle, just to give you a 30,000 foot estimate. So we got some options, but what I need today is we can take a grant or we can't. That's kind of what I'm here for. So questions related to those
Can
things?
I add one thing? Is that okay? And you guys have, and Dustin within his budget, you know, had the foresight, and you guys acknowledged the importance of starting to plan for this. You've already set a GL line for the purchase and have put money into it. So right now in the 2026 budget, there's about $160,000 that is in the budget presently towards ambulance purchase. So just so you have that background as well, and of course we were gonna, you know, push that through as that improvement plan, you know, to continue to do that so we can manage it in a timely manner and it doesn't hit all at once.
Yes, sir.
Now, on the 158, I understand you're rearranging, but you're still gonna lose something. You only
Yes,
rearrange a certain
so-
amount, so what I'm asking is, and I'm sure it's minimal, but what are you losing?
So what we did was, and I mean, I got pictures, we can get deep in this thing if you want to. What we did was,
Well, I just wanna make sure, I'm great at saving money, but I
Right.
wanna make sure you've got what you need
Yep. So what we did was, right now, if you look in our ambulances, if it's okay if I walk out here. If I'm standing at the back of the ambulance looking forward, right in the middle is where the stretcher is. And to the right side, there's a nice long bench seat, right? And behind the stretcher, there's basically a chair, like a bucket seat. And then to the left, there's one little seat there, we call it CPR seat. What we did was we shortened this bench seat to where now it's one seat. And that created some storage options on each side. What we were worried about though by doing that was, right now, if we have an MCI, that bench seat accounts for a place that we can put a person.
Right.
Probably, if that accounts for that. So what we did was we put in some provisions, and I'm gonna find it here and just show it to you, because it ain't gonna make sense if I don't. What we did was we went to the other side of the truck, and basically the tabletop that's long.
Right.
We put in some padding, and we put in some seat belts and provisions so that you could put a backboard there and create
Gotcha.
a
So
place to
you
put a
still
person.
have that
Right, you
additional
still have that
transport.
long
So if you look,
bench.
this is the CPRC side of it.
Right.
So this is where, would be if I'm looking from the back, this would be the left side of the vehicle.
Mhm.
That red line right there and those blue seat belts are what we added so that we can still
Okay.
fit that second
Gotcha.
patient there. If that makes sense.
That's good.
Red
Yeah.
line is what we would put up.
Alright.
And then the seat belts are would be for security.
Alright, with this proposal, is this an all-wheel coach, or is it a two-wheeled, or?
In regards to four-wheel drive?
Yeah.
Yes, four-wheel drive. Yeah, you won't ever catch me buying something around here that's not four-wheel drive.
Well, I didn't think so, but I have
Yeah,
to
that's
ask,
a
do you
great question.
understand?
And that's one of the.
With these dirt roads the way they are,
Right. Yeah.
he's closed his eyes and chin.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I thought you had.
No, I'm just.
Anyway,
Next.
all right, on the refurbishing of the ones we have, and I know that the mileage is great, I know the age is not,
Right.
but on the refurbishing, is 2 out of the 3 worth refurbishing?
I'm not.
In your opinion?
In my
And I know
opinion-
you haven't evaluated it totally.
Yeah, in my opinion, we've identified EMS 6, which is the 2013 model vehicle,
With the lowest mileage.
with the lowest miles. We don't lose anything, or we don't take any risk. It's gonna cost us maybe $5,000 total to install the modern equipment that we take out of Medic 4 into that truck. Even if we ran 40, 50, 60, 70 calls in a year out of it as a truck that we use while, someone's being maintenance or something like that, it would be worth it, and we would get a couple of years of service out of it to extend these other ones. The other two, I'm not 100% sure on yet, but that one I feel comfortable putting a minimal amount of money into.
Right.
I wouldn't, and that's the only way I can figure out to come up here and be able to tell you guys, hey, let's spend a couple of $1,000s on this thing. Because if I came up here and just said, we got this old truck, but it's only got 20,000 miles on it, let's spend $100 grand to put all this equipment in it, like, I wouldn't feel like I was giving you my best opinion. But I think doing it this way, I could be okay with it, because it's very minimal cost.
When you're talking about changing the chassis, putting new chassis in.
Yep.
And don't shoot me, David, but with this stuff they're putting on the roads that's eating vehicles up, is that chassis protected? Does it have a protective coating on it
Yes.
to help the life of it?
Yes, they do. So that's one of the, I don't call it an upcharge, but it's one of the things
Yeah,
that
it
we
is.
select. I'm sure there's some charge associated with it. Basically, I don't know the name of the paint or the coating or whatever it is,
Right,
but basically they spray the
But
frame.
it protects the
Yeah.
metal from this stuff on the road.
Yes, sir.
Because I know several people that run junkyards, whatever, that's one of they're getting all kind of cars in, that's the only thing wrong with it, frames rusted.
Yeah, I mean, you can go look at our 4 trucks that we've purchased as county, and I can't speak for the ones we've inherited, but the 4 that we purchased from the county all have been treated in that manner. And you can crawl up under them and look, they're pretty well rust free, and our folks do a good job of washing them during
Right.
these types
And
of
I
things
just got
too,
one
so-
more, and then I'll
That's okay.
hush.
Yes, sir.
Did this go out to RFP, or did we approach these people for a quote?
Procurement.
Okay, it did go through that.
Yes,
Okay.
it went through the Houston Galveston procurement process, which is like a national,
Right.
type thing where they.
Follows our policy.
Yeah, they do all the
And-
good stuff for us. It usually covers procurement
We
problems.
did have a local that did participate in that, or did they choose not to?
So far, I can answer that if it's okay. So far, we have not participated with him. I have a meeting with him tomorrow, to make sure that he has a quote included with this. And like I said,
He has an opportunity.
I'm
to
not
do
here
so.
today to get a purchase agreement.
Well, I know,
signed
I
or
know,
anything
I know.
like that. We still got plenty of
I was
time
just
to figure
curious
out who we buy.
when I saw the name, I was
Same
just
here.
curious,
Yeah.
because usually that outfit puts
Yeah.
in something.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't, that's the ball game, but.
Yeah,
So we covered our bases through Dustin covered, the basis through procurement and the amount, and please, between the two of us, do you know how many phone calls we got from ambulance?
Oh, I bet.
Whew, especially when the grant was approved, but it is covered and for grant purposes, so we can get enough data and, submit the grant appropriately. And now, it's,
Yeah.
if you approve it, moving forward in other
And
lanes.
basically, with what we've already got budgeted, we need roughly 80,000 more, give or take.
89 is what I came up with,
All
by
right.
dirty math.
Thank you, I know I went off on the side you wasn't aiming to, but it's stuff that we needed to know
Sure.
and the public needs to know,
Absolutely.
so, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And I'll hush.
I really appreciate all this work. I think right now, what you want is approval for the grant, and I would like you to come to our night meeting maybe, and I have a number of different questions, like I'm a fan of using what we have whenever we can. All of these ambulances have been garage kept. And, when you hear 27,000, 34,000, 53,000, those are some really good numbers in terms of when we're putting 40,000+ miles a year on ambulances. I know we've discussed a couple of other things that we might be able to utilize,
But they can't accept the modernization of what's needed.
I understand that,
So
but
that's the challenge of
but-
this.
But there are some things that we also can do with these to aid, for instance, this situation with falls or some of our frequent flyers and that kind of stuff. We've discussed that, and maybe one of these, it's just, otherwise, we could sell these and probably get some good money because of the low mileage. But I love the idea of upfitting the 27,000 mile one. My quick math says we need about 89,000, and do you know why the wheelbase was so large on the ARPA and CARES Act monies?
No, I don't, I'm, the assumption, best I understand, I'm gonna ask,
Right, tomorrow.
Ms. Invest tomorrow. 'Cause
Right.
That's part of my meeting with them, is trying to understand why they, built those exactly what they did. Like I said, they're state of the art, and you'll never hear me complain about them.
Right.
I'm assuming it's for suspension purposes, it's for ride comfortable, and as, we all know, some of our roads are
Weight
rough, right?
distribution and all.
Yeah, so, I'm assuming that's the reason,
Okay.
but I wouldn't hold me to it till after tomorrow. I'll try to find out more
Well,
information tomorrow.
I appreciate all this information and, the jobs that you as, in your position and all of our crews have done over the last, over the last 6 weeks has been remarkable, and, it's been a very trying time. And, I just wanna send my, complete and utter gratitude for everything that your crews have been doing on this. When it's time, sir, I'd love to make the motion to accept the grant.
First off, Chief, that was a good presentation. I appreciate all that information. You're doing a great job with all of that. And I appreciate your stewardship on trying to watch out for the taxpayers' money, right? Because we know we need it. We need public safety and first responders. So I appreciate what you're doing for us. The just information for me, but how often does the grant that we applied for here, how often does that come up?
So they run them twice a year. The next one's actually open now. It opened, maybe last couple of days. Maybe, I think it was yesterday, maybe Friday, last couple of days. But so essentially the process ends, in January and in June.
And traditionally, that's like always taken place.
That's how it's always been. The only interruption we've ever saw in that while I've been in EMS was during COVID. They did shut it down during COVID. So we went about 2 years there where there was no grant process whatsoever through this specific group.
And what type of information, I mean, I'm sure it ain't one of these deals, everybody that applies gets accepted, but
No.
what made us be able to be?
So the information that we were able to put in, and I can send you an exact copy of the grant application if you guys would like to review it. The information that we put in, for one, is our agency information, right? So the amount of the volume that we have, the distances that we travel, stuff like that. We put in financial information, our budget, how much money we spend, the revenue that we create, which is not quite what we spend. And then, unfortunately, that's the nature of what we do. And then there's kind of the last section where, I kind of have an opportunity to explain like the need, why we need it, that type of stuff. I will say this is the first ambulance grant that we've ever applied for and received that I didn't have to go in front of a board and explain it again. So, when Philip was here, when we bought the black ambulances, one of them was bought on a grant, the other one was bought with ARPA money. The first one that was bought on a grant, we did have to go to that board and say, hey, we had to continue to further explain what our need was. So I put a lot of time into the grant application, and I put a lot of information, a lot of details. And like I said, since I've been at Floyd, this is the first time that they accepted that on the merit that it was and didn't have us come explain it more. So I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you did. And when we get a vehicle like that through a grant, obviously its lifespan might be 4 or 5 years, whatever, but when it gets to that point, because it's received from a grant, is there restrictions on what we can do with it later?
There's a 5-year restriction, so we have to utilize it for what we said we were gonna utilize it for 5 years, and then after the 5th year, we can do what we need to with it.
And then my last question would just be, they reimburse us, we have to pay.
Yes.
What's the timeline for the reimbursement usually?
They're usually pretty quick about it. Once we get the money spent, we get the invoices in. Generally, I send in invoices. I send in usually an actual copy of the check that we sent on, stuff like that. After that, the next step of the process is we have to have an inspector come and inspect the vehicles. And once he signs off and says, yep, they bought what they said they bought, and they have it in service under the agreement that we agreed to, usually within the next pay cycle, whatever that for you guys, it's every 2 weeks for somebody else.
Okay.
It's, whatever their board
It's a
cycle is.
comfortable 30,
Okay.
30 return.
Nothing like
60.
nothing like 6 months you're waiting.
No, it's
Yeah.
like a 30 to 60 return, especially through this funnel.
Yeah, they're really good. I mean,
Yeah.
we've used them several times for lots of different things. The EMD software that the dispatch folks are having running over there, this same program funded the grant money for that too. So, I mean, we've worked with them quite a bit. They're pretty good about taking care of us and
Dustin wrote that grant as
getting
well.
us through it.
Thank you, Chief. That answers my questions.
The problem I have with this, I mean, I know we need the equipment, but I have to justify to 3,000 people in Indian Valley why we don't have a squad up there.
Sure.
I mean, and they're gonna say, why are you allowing them to spend $250,000 to buy a new vehicle, and they don't get people up here to do it? Now, y'all agreed last year that when I was running for this office, that y'all had the station opened up there from 1 o'clock in the day to 7 p.m. for 7 days a week. And then after the election, we've dropped back to now, well, they ain't been open for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so the last 2 weeks we've been under a state of emergency, and under a state of
Understand
emergency, we
that.
stay here and centrally located, just because we don't know where the need's gonna be yet.
I understand that. But y'all have had wrecks in the Indian Valley District. I know you had one down on Island Ridge that a lady slid down through there and hit a pole or something up there, and y'all had to go up there. Your response time would have been quicker from the valley station, it would have been from Floyd, I would think.
Hold on,
I think
Mr., I think,
it's okay.
no, it's okay. I think, Dustin and I are gonna look at our schedules today, and not that this is not, but I think that this conversation, I think we've wanted to have, you've asked for a meeting with us.
I have, yes.
So now that we've got through what we did, which is what I said to you, that I'd commit to getting with Dustin, getting our schedules, I think that conversation, and to continue that, we could have there as well, which I think is part of the intent of your meeting that you
Mhm.
requested.
It is, but
So-
we haven't had the meeting, so that's why I'm asking,
Right.
because people have been calling me.
Right,
So that's
but we
why
said,
I'm
once
here.
we get through the emergency, we would set up the meeting.
But I'm not against this here.
Yeah.
I'll just have to justify to the people why.
Yeah, well, I mean, to kinda answer, I can answer justification questions, I don't wanna get in the weeds on why we're not here and where we are and where we ain't. But, you know, you wanna move out and staff remote stations, that takes ambulances too.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, we've got, you know, 2 ambulances that are first run ambulances, we've got 2 ambulances with almost 200,000 miles on it that are almost 10 years old or more.
Mhm.
If we're going anywhere as a second or third location, we need an ambulance.
Now, I understand about the equipment, I mean, you know, you're talking about the ones with the low mileage and all that,
Yeah.
and Linda had brought that up over here. But when a vehicle sits like that, they actually go downhill more than one that you run.
I agree.
So, I mean, I agree with, you know, what you're saying about the low mileage ones.
Yeah.
Because there are older vehicles and, you know, they do go downhill quick if they sit and not used. So, that's all I have. Appreciate everything y'all did there for the emergencies that we had here the last 2-3 weeks. Y'all did a great job. Thank you.
I just have one other. I do wanna make mention, and this is something that's very important, the advocacy that's been done by the Virginia Association of Counties at our last couple of board meetings over the last 2.5-3 years to get this money out again from the OEM.
Yeah.
Because this agency had a little bit of situation back 3 years ago, losing $55 million. So, BACO has been instrumental in making sure that this money started to come back out again, and we did not let it go. We stayed on it like a bird dog on a trail. I mean, we did. This is something that's so important to our rural counties, and just so you know, there are, you know, 2 of us that are on that board, and we work hard every chance we had to make sure that OEM office started to release some funds again. So I just want you to know that we've got your back here as well as in Richmond and beyond, so.
Yeah, we're grateful that, I mean, that's kinda what I was stepping around. We said that they stopped doing it for a while after COVID, but realistically during COVID, a lot of money went missing from the office of EMS and through Virginia Department of Health. I'm sure you guys remember
Or for life.
seeing press releases.
Yeah.
It was pretty dramatic and pretty drastic too. So that's why I was going for the while, it took a while to figure out how to.
There you go.
fund it,
But the
stuff like
state
that.
has changed its oversight of that group.
Yes, it has.
Greatly.
It's
Highly.
still
Finally.
changing too.
It
Like,
is.
The system's still evolving. We don't really know what the final state of the office of EMS is gonna look like when it's done.
Right. They're still,
Anyway, I just wanted you to know that, I mean, I know you hear about it, but, I mean, we are boots on the ground for
and if
you.
there's anything we do, y'all let us know.
Right.
Believe me, they know both of us talk a lot when we get to Richmond.
And then just to follow it, Dustin will also, you know, kind of that quarterly in March come and give the stats of, you know, yearly update and possibly quarterly where we are year to date, so.
With the new, if I may, with the new Munis system, it is pretty well set up. I know we have our reports of, could we see could you add a column for a breakdown per district?
On call.
On calls?
On calls?
You do
Yeah, I
that
can do
anyway.
I can do
No,
that.
he does that, yeah.
Yeah.
You do that anyway, right?
Yeah.
No.
That's through.
No, that'll be
ESO.
run through ESO. I can do that, or I can help you learn how to do that if you wanna do it.
Well,
However.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with
Maybe make sure it's.
and we did,
That was
and Walker, we did agree that we're gonna, and Levi both, we're gonna eventually get out to all the stations. But we need to see the number of calls as the mapping is right now.
Mhm.
And we may have to change some of those mappings for
Yeah.
some of what Station One's covering right now may end up covering by Station Two.
Yeah,
or
there's,
the-
I mean, to get like way off on some stuff, I would love to have an opportunity to talk about, like, there's parts of Station 4, as Mr. Phillips said, that's 12 minutes from town.
Right.
It's 23 minutes from Station 4.
Right.
And then vice versa, there's parts of, you know, here that's 20 minutes from there, but only, or 20 minutes from here, but it's only 10 minutes from Indian Valley. So,
Right.
From
So
Indian
there's-
Valley to Green Mountain.
Yeah, absolutely, it's very
Correct.
long.
Well, that's why I say we've gotta look, in relation to setting these stations up, we also have to look at the mapping of what, now, there's gonna be overlapping because
Sure.
there has to be.
Yep.
If Station 4's unit's on the call, then Station 1 will kick
Right.
in. If Station 1's tied up, then Station 3, that's a longer way, but,
Yeah.
you know, but the point I'm trying to get out is we'll have to relook at that mapping in relation as we're moving forward.
And there's all different dynamics, you know, we can look at the increase in permitting, that's in the Copper Hill check area.
Right.
You know, is there more calls coming in there? Where should the stations be staffed
Right.
because of the calls and data that comes with it, with the realignment
Right.
of mapping?
Right.
So this is a big goal.
And I think really, when it comes down to EMS, this is a county-wide. We're not drawing boundaries. Every single citizen in this county knows the importance of emergency medical services. And that is really where it has to come from.
Right.
It is county-wide.
And when we get to
You can go-
station.
You can go back, and I'll use David on this. People thinks that they need it right where they need it, they don't think about their
Mhm.
20-some thousand people. in this
Yeah,
area.
and that's kinda how I try to approach things, like, it's real easy for a person in Czech or a person in Indian Valley to say, this is what I need. And I understand that, and I know what you need, and I'm sending what you need as best I can, but I'm also accounting for what the next person's gonna need, right?
Mhm.
So it's such a large, intricate conversation, there's so many, you know, like Ms. Cheeto said, looking at permitting, like, it's hard to commit things to one area when there's another area that's growing faster. You know, what are we gonna do when that happens? So it's just such a big
And
conversation.
when we get Station 2 up and running, then that'll even add to the whole money.
They asked me a couple years ago, Mr. Booth, what I thought was best, and I said, station in Willis.
We've been talking about it a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
That's been a conversation all the way
That's a
back to the
strong point.
90s.
Fire and rescue is like law enforcement.
Mhm.
Levi backed me up on this. We could be in Mazdan waiting, and the call's gonna be in Roanoke County.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I guarantee you it's gonna be
Never is.
opposite of where
Yep.
you're at.
No convenience related.
And, you know, I've had a number of people, and I may be counting wrong, but, you know, ask me about this grant writing. And I said, well, basically, anybody can write a grant. But justifying it at the end is the main part.
Agreed.
And, you know, unless you're good at justifying stuff, I couldn't do it. Because I couldn't articulate what you need to justify the numbers and stuff like that. So I applaud you on that, you know, being able to write a grant, you know. It's, you did a great job on this.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Every chance you get.
Good work.
Yeah.
You guys have any more questions for me?
Give me one.
I'm good right now.
Go ahead.
All right, I would like to make a motion to approve the acceptance and award of the grant, from the Office of Emergency Medical Services, for, the Floyd County EMS Incorporated, grant number NR C01/1225, and all, signatures therein.
I'll second that if you're ready.
Did you get that, Jim?
Second.
Any other discussion? Call roll.
On a motion to, approve the grant as presented by Chief Dustin Thomas, grant number NRC 01-12-25. Ms. Cookenbook,
Yes.
Mr. Booth,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Mr. Phillips,
Yes.
and Mr. Terman.
Yes.
Thank you. Great job, Dustin.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
David, you got 2 minutes.
I'm
just kidding. He said, okay.
I feel,
David ain't gonna-
It's the easy one, we're pushing snow.
David's easy, it's us that's the problem.
One thing,
I will tell you right now, our barrel died. On Little Mountain.
Oh,
Raider
yeah.
took the
Is
top
it
right
going?
off of it.
Is it going?
Yeah.
I've been there too, right.
you only really got one thing to talk about unless you start saying whether it was snow or ice.
Snow
wind,
Creek?
Or, yeah, Snow Creek. Pretty much all the same thing. We did have a couple weeks in there. Actually, I think it was only about 7 days between my last meeting and when the snow stuff started on the 24th. Where we did some gravel road work, just sort of trying your typical kind of wintertime. We were able to get some patching done. Although even that week that we did have without precipitation, we had very cold temperatures. It's been really cold, and that was also what kind of caused a lot of the why you see it still sitting around out there right now is the temperatures that we had. We did get on, I know Best Tannery was mentioned last time, that you could get a grader on that. Bluebird, Dobbins Farm, Sunny Ridge, Merrifield, Epperly Mill, we did get the grader out on a few of these roads, did a little bit of ditching on Starbuck, patching, on 221, couple of secondaries, a little on Buffalo Mountain, Camp 5, Allen Ridge. Other than that, it's just been snow stuff. So, our guys worked 20 days in a row, I think. Could you count that? We had the 19th off to the federal holiday, and then after that was the rest of that week. But it started on Saturday, the 24th. They've been 24-hour operations up until Sunday. We sent our crew home Sunday afternoon, and the night crew did not work Sunday night for the first time in 10 days or something like that. So it was a long time. 14 days. Anyways, it's all one together. But that's all I got. Looking forward to spring, when we can, well, first of all, there's gonna be mud and potholes, so we'll take care of those. Actually, already working on potholes as we can. It's gonna be up in the 50s today. I think we're gonna have 24 hours without it dropping below freezing here.
Awesome.
Don't get used to it.
I know, yeah. Oh, it'll be back, yeah. There's always, those March snows are fun
Yeah.
too. But, well, then we'll be out trying to get some of the worst potholes that are out there right now, as quickly as we can. Doing a lot of equipment work that those straight days was tough on the equipment. So we're gonna get that back in shape here real quick. And then as spring and summer come around, we do have a couple projects on some unpaved roads we hope to, we'll get done this season. That'll be Oak Road and Firehouse Road. Those are 2 6-year plan roads. So that's all I've got. It might have been more than 2 minutes.
Is Firehouse still on the
You did
schedule
good.
for spring?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanna make sure, yeah.
I'll start that here, I'm just seeing if you got anything.
One thing, there's been a lot of complaints back in the valley. When they leave and it's snowing, going down 787 towards Montgomery County, when they get to the Montgomery County Bridge, the roads are clear. Y'all done whatever you need to do over there, but on the Indian Valley side, they slide down the mountain. And that's because y'all pre-treat 787 on the Montgomery County side. The 787 side on the Floyd side, because we're hill coming in down and it levels out in Montgomery County, y'all don't pre-treat that. I would really like that to be pre-treated in the wintertime if it's possible.
Yeah, that's definitely something we can look at.
Huh?
That's definitely something we can look at doing. 600 also comes down in Montgomery County right there, and that's kind
Yeah,
of a
yeah,
major out,
yeah. But that's
Piney
just
Woods.
recently,
Yeah.
and that 600 just recently been tarred and gravelled here a few years ago, right?
Yes, because that was a project,
Okay.
to why, that's a long story on
Yeah.
how Piney Woods got paved like that. It has to do with federal money that we were able to use on an unpaved road, which was bizarre, but we took advantage of it. That was the only one in Montgomery County.
From Montgomery County to Indian Valley Elementary School, that's all north facing. A lot of places don't see no sun.
You're right, you don't.
That's
You're
one of
right,
the,
yes.
yeah. Charles County always says the same thing about 460, it's worse on their side, but that's also on the north side, and it never gets sun on the Giles County side of 416. But pre-treating would help that.
Yes, I
If
think
we're in
it
that
would.
area, there's no reason we can't just, turn around or come from another direction. They tend to just use the county.
I know the people in Indian Valley would be tickled to death because a lot of them actually use that to get to Montgomery County.
Go that way,
That's their
yeah.
main drag out there is to get to the interstate.
Okay, yep, that's good, that's a good suggestion.
Yeah, I do appreciate the, improvements. Well, it's cross between me and Linda's district, but Best Tannery, y'all have been paying a lot of attention out there. I actually got behind a beat-out truck last week with some, I guess, millings that was going out there too, so those folks have been really pleased and happy from what I can tell, so I appreciate that.
Okay, and we'll, I've got notes from all the other meetings, we'll catch up on all of those.
Yeah.
With the weather goes.
Yeah, but tell the folks I appreciate their hard work on Best Tannery.
Thanks.
Richard?
Believe it or not, I'm just gonna thank y'all for what you've done. I know that pre-treating helps, but it only helps when the temperature gets up to a certain degree.
That's true.
And under, it doesn't, there's not much you can do. I did notice that there was some of the trucks putting the small gravel out and that stuff on top of the ice that wouldn't come up. And,
We're also able to treat some of that with a calcium chloride.
Yes.
As opposed to the sodium chloride brine, and that helps a lot.
That helps
We can
too.
treat that stone.
just thank y'all, thank everybody in the whole crew for what they're doing and what they did through this. There was some complaints about driveways being filled in, but, that's, you're trying to get the main roads open so that our ambulances, first responders and the people can get to them, and people are just gonna have to understand that, it's just the way it is, but that's all I have. I wanna thank you and thank everybody.
Yeah, I'll echo Jerry's, he said it eloquently enough. All the crews, most people were understanding. I've sent you a couple of things. I, recently did drive, 221, this is Levi's, but I did drive 221, towards, Bent Mountain. And, I know that's something that we really can't maybe get right away, but that situation is, the road is falling apart. And the safety of our citizens who leave and go to work each and every day down in Roanoke can't be minimized at all. But it's also the way visitors come to our county, and that is a major thoroughfare in and out. So whatever can be done as soon as it can get done, it's like one long pothole. It's not even like there are some holes. But there's just where the pavement is just, and I know that this weather is gonna exacerbate all of this, because now we're gonna get the freezing and the thawing, and then the freezing again, and I know what that does to pavement.
Now it's obviously gonna be a statewide
It is.
concern, and we'll see how the state, we get any extra funds to address the
Right,
breakup.
and
Nice.
we have been advocating, I know the chairman and Jerry sit on the transportation committee, and we have been advocating, at VACO for more involvement, more autonomy back to locals, and just more money. Everybody is.
The district administrator is also very well aware of that, because that's how he gets to his parents' house.
That is correct.
So,
That is
I'll
correct.
bring it up to him every once in a while.
That is correct. But, whatever you can do, It is a safety hazard, because if you don't know it's there, your wheel will get caught, and, yeah, overcorrections, and, you know, I don't have to spell it out for you.
You think they're bad now, wait till these cracks fall out.
Oh, I know, yeah.
It's gonna,
I'm done.
I had one thing I forgot to ask.
wait,
Top of, the hill on Route 8 there across from the trucking company,
We looked at that, yeah.
you got that took care of?
Well, it's not taken care of yet, but it's.
You at least got something.
Yeah, I know exactly where it is.
You got something
Yeah.
marking it
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
okay.
What was it?
Across from the old A&N hill,
Yeah.
there was a big hole on the side of the road
It's just,
going
it's
forward.
kinda
Oh,
dipshit a little bit.
Dipshit.
Right there.
oh, I must have missed it with the Suburban this morning.
I think different vehicles navigate it differently.
Thank y'all
Yeah.
for that
Everybody
attention.
done?
No, that was my one more thing for the day.
I just wanted a simple question. I've seen a couple of works about it. Are they trying to get it where y'all can't salt the roads?
I've heard a couple, and that's, things like that have come up before, some more environmental friendly kind of, ways to do it. So far, they want to come up with a more efficient way, I guess was the word for it.
I don't know how you can do it even.
I know, salt's and stuff that does it, but they've been trying to find some kind of organic type of things, whether it be citrus-based or beet.
Yeah, but look how long y'all been using
Yeah.
salt on roads for 50 years. It
Yeah.
hasn't caused any damage that I know of. This global warming's killing me now.
Yeah.
It's drawing it's the wildlife
Yeah, well,
part of it.
Yeah,
I
there's the
know
runoff
they-
in the streams and stuff like that.
I see
Like
squirrels out
agricultural
there
runoff.
licking the gravel.
Runoff.
You know, I've seen deer out there licking gravel. That's just, I don't care what you put down, you know. it's-
I mean, there's always probably gonna be some research into it, but I can't imagine, every legislator has to get to work too, so.
Yep.
They all try too, so I think when it comes down to it, they want us to get it off as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Common sense is a premium anymore. But I appreciate everything y'all have done.
I got one more thing, this gentleman back here is gonna get up here and talk here in just a minute about in Springs Road.
Yes.
I think you talked to your last meeting that you was here. I went out there and looked at that, and I measured from that sign back where they wanna move it, it's 640 feet back there. And I measured across the road before you get to that, the end of the state maintenance there. And it's 14 feet across right there, and I went on the other side and measured what goes on back in there, and it's actually 14 foot there too. That sign could be moved back to where it benefits them other three houses for the state, cause they help you go back there and turn around anyway and come
Yeah.
back. You know what they want to say? I think they would move the sign if you let them, and just put a couple dump truck loads of gravel back there, then you'd be fine, without having to go in there. If you had to redo the whole thing, you'd probably have to widen the whole road all the way out through there, because,
You would, yeah.
I mean, you know, so,
I think that's something you can definitely look into with it.
Okay.
It's kind of benefit, because we have turnarounds, at the end of other roads that either we have the right of way to do it, or we have an agreement with the property owner, and we kind of maintain that turnaround.
Right.
Because it's good for, I don't think a school bus goes up there now, but you never know in the future. It's always good to have someplace for a large vehicle to turn around.
yeah. But there is enough room at the end there for
Right.
the grader turnaround and school bus and everything. So really, to my opinion, it wouldn't hurt to move to,
Yes.
end
And
of
it may be
state
a-
maintenance sign
it may
back
be, yeah.
640 feet.
Yeah, we might work something out there.
Okay.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
David.
Thanks,
Thank you for
David.
everything y'all done.
I think I got a couple more, but that's fine.
That's my paper.
I don't see no
I'll just let you sign it while you're up there. How about that?
Y'all have sat there too long. Sorry. It is what it is. All right, with that, we'll move on. It is the intent that all people attending the meeting of the board, regardless of handicap and conditions, shall have an opportunity to participate. If any person present requires any special assistance, please let the board know in order that arrangements can be made. Speakers are limited to 4 minutes. Sharing or giving away unused time is not permitted. The board does not respond to questions or comments made by the speaker during the public comment period. So, been through there, I guess.
Yeah, it's too hard to get out of the chair. Well, good morning, glad to be here.
Good morning.
Sorry I couldn't go through the bottom, the elevator don't work. Stumbled in on you late, but that's all right. I thank all y'all for your work you're doing. In answer to your question for the rescue squad, a longer ride's better. I got over 3 million miles on my backside from owning a tractor trailer for over 31 years. 291 inches makes a difference over a 260. A 260 really makes a rough ride, but a 290 is hard to turn in a parking lot.
Right.
It's hard to get into a garage, a dock. That's the downside, but it
Right.
sure does ride when you put 3,000 miles in just a few days on your backside.
I think that just come.
Next thing, the trash boxes. I know y'all need a central location to put things at, but back in the 70s, I saw a lot of trash over the banks. And I know the one that, you're working on for, Willis, out in that area. If you get rid of all the trash boxes next to the school there on 221, if you get rid of the ones in Allen Ridge, people ain't gonna drive that far. You might ought to take that into consideration. I know you got bear problems, but I thought about that since I've been coming back to the meetings and been hearing about this. I can see trash going over the banks again, cause people ain't gonna drive from Allen Ridge all the way over that way. They'll just say, chunk it. Now, 809, the turning around of thing for Indian Springs Road. This last snow we had, the guy that, whoever is the farm tractor, that they got contracted to grade, goes back to the sign, raises a blade, and turns around. Now you got 4 people doing the road, well, 3 people in the business. I've gotta go clean them out so they can get the job done. And I talked to the road grader guy, and he said he don't have a problem going all the way out and turning around and coming back, cause he gotta turn somewhere anyway. But I went up there working on the house that I was, trying to get built. It creates a problem when I went up there and I see this much in the road from there on out, and 2 tracks. So I get my tractor and I just take care of things. So that's it. Thank you.
Appreciate
you.
it.
I don't see no clock on the wall,
No,
but
I'm doing it.
I'm sure my 4 minutes.
You may have had it.
No, you
more
had it
than you needed
under.
today.
You were under, sir.
I just wanted to clear
I
that.
appreciate you.
I know there's a question about the wheelbase,
Yeah, I mean,
but I got
that's,
over 3 million miles back here. And
Right.
the longer the ride, the better the ride.
yeah, so I guess that was the kind of, yeah.
Was there anyone else